All right. This is going to be the first of 16 installments. Something that I probably should have done a long time ago. First of all, I want to apologize for the shitty quality of this video. I'm using a Chromebook, which is probably the worst piece of technology ever made. But it's going to have to do for now. Quick backstory on how this occurred. Been a Titans fan for 26 years now, since they were the Oilers, of course. And as of recently, I'd say probably past 5 years or so, I've been using Snapchat to either rant or praise this team after games. Most of my followers have no interest in the Titans. In fact, all of them do. They just enjoy seeing me get really upset or talking shit about other teams. So this coming year, I decided, hey, why not take it to YouTube? There's really not a whole lot of people doing this as far as talking Titans football. Really, any other team out there, professional sports, football, they all have channels where people just go on and on and on about the team. But this team doesn't. I understand it's a small market team, but it's kind of BS. I mean, there's one kid, I think his name's MJ. I watch him regularly. He's a Titan fan. He does the whole league, but he spends more time with the Titans because that's his team. But for the most part, there's just not a lot. And I thought this would be a good idea to do. I do have a pretty, decent relationship with Titans fans on Twitter and Facebook. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what happens. A lot of times this just helps me vent, if nothing else, whether it be a win or loss. But most of the time for a loss, this helps me get over it more by just kind of expressing my, displeasure with some of the things that took place. Or in a win, in that situation, it's great to just praise the good things that happened and try to hope that it gets better. My voice is raspy as hell. I'm sure you guys can imagine why. A lot of yelling today, a lot of excitement, but I'm going to do my best to push through it. First thing I want to mention, and honestly, this is probably the most underlooked thing of the week, and even on Twitter now, nobody's talking about it at all. Cairo Santos, okay? This guy needs a lot of credit, probably more credit when you really think about it, than anyone on the team. If you really want to dive into it, 53-yard field goal to make this a two-score game. I believe it was halfway into the first half. That was huge. And the guy nailed all of his kicks, all the extra points, which in this day and age of football is becoming not an easy thing to do. And he just did everything right. And he deserves a lot of credit. He stepped into a position that was very quick. He didn't really have any time to repair, even though he said he's been kicking all offseason with the intent that this could happen. But he deserves a lot of credit. And I wanted to get that out of the way before I say anything else, because I think it's getting overlooked amongst us fans how good he was today. And I just want to make sure he gets the credit that he deserves. Moving on from that, I guess the easiest thing to do is to start with the offense, okay? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The first half of this game, I wasn't really happy with Marcus. I thought, as always, or one of the things he's always had a problem with was holding on to the ball. And I think a lot of the times when there's nothing available, rather than maybe scrambling outside the hash marks and throwing it away, he tries to dance a little bit and he gets caught up. There was a situation where I think it was on the 50-yard field goal. They would have had a lot more of a manageable kick if he had either ran or thrown it away, and he decided to hold it and lose about another 7-8 yards, which set up the farther field goal. Now, it worked out because Santos was basically automatic today, but this first half, I really wasn't happy. I'm not, and anybody who would be, I'd be a little surprised, because this is the contract year, okay? This is the year where we can't get a 11 touchdown, 13 interception year. I mean, it's going to have to be constant progression. Second half comes around, completely different story. I mean, listen, I'll try to say this as often as it deems necessary. The offensive line today was abysmal. I mean, it was awful. I mean, he just as important as getting out of the pocket and trying to extend plays. You need protection, and he got zero protection today. Okay, that's another reason why it took so long for Henry to get involved, because in the beginning, they just couldn't get any gaps. And, Dion Lewis is a shifty guy where if you don't have a strong offensive line, he might be the guy that be able to, break it up a little. He didn't do that at all. And then Henry started to get rolling in the second half, but the offensive line was abysmal. But in the second half, they made the adjustments they needed to make. And really, that screen pass touchdown was just the beginning of the end for Cleveland. I think it took the air right out of the building, and I think it put the pressure on Baker's back. And I think that was the biggest part of today, which why we got the win. When Baker had pressure, and if you look at a lot of last year, a lot of the pressure games that they were in, that really kind of at the end of the day made or broke the season, because they were pretty much one game out of the playoffs. He folded, and if you make him feel like there's no way out and he's going to have to push the ball out of his hand, he usually folds, and that's what you saw today. Got to give a lot of credit to Cameron Wake as we move on to the defense. I'm going to get back to the offense in a minute, but Cameron Wake, 2.5 sacks. I mean, I think he paid off already just in this game. I mean, really, I think the money they spent just for this game pretty much, made sense. I mean, he was just a force. And I know that Cleveland's offensive line is nothing to really brag about either, but he was a force. He's everything we needed him to be. Helped Landry get some rushing on the outside as well. I think we're going to see a lot better results for him moving forward. I think every week he's going to get better and better and better. Hell, I think he's got an outside shot to be a Pro Bowler this year if he progresses the way I think he can. But Cameron Wake, I mean, there's not a lot more you can say. Going back to the offense, Corey Davis was nowhere to be found. And I got to be honest, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. I mean, we just destroyed the Browns. A lot of it had to do with the defense, but we just destroyed the Browns. If we destroy every team and Corey Davis has no catches, I love CD to death, but I don't know how anyone could care right now. I really don't. I don't know how anyone can care. He didn't catch any balls. He had no yards. He had a ball that he should have caught that was a little high, but he should have caught it. Would have been a first down catch. That's all I'm going to say about him. I think he's going to be fine. I expect him to have at least 75 yards against the Colts. I think they're going to kind of force the ball to him a little bit to keep his confidence up, even though I don't think he really needs any confidence boost. I think he knows the talent he has. But I think they're going to push the ball to him a little next week. But I'm not worried about him at all. My absolute best thing I took away out of this offense today, and it's not even close. Maybe it's a little close. I'll give you my maybe second, but my number one thing I was happy about with this offense is A.J. Brown. Okay? This kid is a first-game rookie, and he put up 100 yards today. One of the plays was so big, and it was just so good to see a guy come down with a ball and know exactly the moves to make to extend the play. It was just, I don't know what to say. It was just so refreshing to see. He's everything that I think we're going to need to be a division contender. And there's nothing more to really say. He said in Julio Jones's Instagram post, I don't know if it was ESPN or NFL, that he was happy to see someone do it the right way, not being in trouble, not complaining, getting his money. And he said he's going to force us to pay him. And frankly, I couldn't be more happy to hear that. I think that's a sign of somebody who wants to work and who wants to show why he deserves the paychecks that he might be getting in the future. So I'm going to leave it there with A.J. Brown. So excited. Probably the next uniform I'm going to get, unless he, takes a huge dive. I'll probably wait till after Thursday night. But if he's, just trends to where I think he's going to trend, I'm definitely getting his jersey. Adam Humphries, I think he had one catch today. Wasn't really a difference maker in the least bit. But, yeah, he had one catch for 5 yards. I mean, really, if you told me today that we were going to win this game 43-13, and Corey Davis and Adam Humphries were going to combine for one catch for 5 yards, I would have said you're absolutely insane. That's what happened, okay? And I'm not worried about Humphries either. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's going to come into his own. He's still getting used to this offense. And Mark is still getting used to his ins and outs, his pros and cons, but I'm not worried about it at all. As I mentioned already, Derrick Henry, slow to start, finish strong. I don't know why we don't use him more on the outsides. A lot of the time today, we tried to shoot him up the gut, and this guy is at his best when he's running east to west. I mean, it's not even a debate. I think Arthur Smith will make that adjustment and have him start doing it more because there's enough tape on the guy to know that his home run hits are left to right, with the exception of Thursday night, which obviously was right up the middle. Dion Lewis, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of done with him. He's a whole lot of like pizzazz with the spins and whatnot. He's good for a highlight play here and there, but I honestly would like to see what Fluellen could do, to be honest. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's the reality of it. I mean, every time he was in last year, he didn't get a lot of snaps, but when he was pretty productive. And Dion Lewis, I don't think I can say the same for. But, running backs as a whole, Henry finished with 85 yards, 75 yards receiving. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. Just hope for more of that to come. Going back to defense, secondary. I mean, what more can you say about the secondary? I mean, they held Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry to a whopping 13 points. And those 13 points didn't really even involve them too much. My man catch no balls for the first time in a while was an actual accurate slogan for our secondary because they really were just they maintained. Now the penalties helped. Okay, this is like the first time since 1950 or whatever that they've had this many penalties. Listen, anytime you have 150, 160 yards in penalties against you, you're not going to win a lot of football games. But, with that being said, even when the penalties weren't an issue, we were really holding our own defensively. And the secondary was just really, Malcolm Butler with a pick six. Whether it's garbage time or not, that's really important to see. He needs his confidence as high as possible. Okay? Because, if he's going to be covering number ones, which he covered fucking OBJ today, which I cannot believe. But, he covered OBJ. And that was a little shocking to me. But listen, at the end of the day, really shut him down, to be honest. A couple plays here and there. But, our secondary was on their shit today. And that's really what it boils down to. Like I said, the way this channel is going to be when we lose, because we will lose at some point, you're going to see a very different human being in this video. I think I kept the cursing to like 2 or 3 tonight, which is actually pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy with myself. When we lose, especially if it's going to be in a bad way, you're going to hear a lot of cursing, okay? This is going to be an NSFW type video when the losing starts. But, I can't really curse too much. I'm not going to talk too much about the Browns hype. Listen, we put it to bed, all right? Baker needs work. Okay, he needs work. All right, there were some plays he made with pressure that were impressive, but as a whole, everyone needs to relax, making him out to be, the next Joe Montana. It's really not, okay? Patrick Mahomes went out today and did everything that we thought he would do against a defense that was supposed to be in the top half of the league. He proved to us, which we should be very happy about, not to mention, that the Jacksonville defense may very well be as exposable as they've been for the past couple of years. But Baker needs work, and I think when you have too many egos in one room like they have, it's going to take a while to mesh. I think it will eventually, but, to be able to go into there today and kind of just really dominate from whistle to whistle. I mean, I said going into this week, I think if we won this game, it would be a more satisfying win than beating Kansas City at home. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean when it happens. I don't remember what part of the year that's in. I think it's towards the middle. Hopefully, it means something for us, and we're still battling for a division title. I would be shocked if it wasn't. But this win here with all the hype and everyone and their mother picking Cleveland to go in there and just dominate them from top to bottom. I mean, it's you got to be on cloud nine as a Titans fan. And I'm going to leave it there. About 15 minutes worth. Let's see, man. Jacoby Brissett's not a joke. Okay, if we think we're going to show up home next week and just grab a 2-0 start, we got another thing coming. Okay, they took LA to overtime today, and they're no joke. LA is supposed to be an AFC contender, and they went in their building and took it to the last play. So I'm excited. I'm a lot more optimistic about this game than I was about the game that took place today. But there's a lot to be excited about, and I'm hoping to be back here next Sunday night and having my cursing be as low of a minimum as it was tonight. So tighten up and see you next week.